Hello and welcome to Sammy V Reads. This is my first video, so it's probably going to be very poor editing, probably going to be a lot of takes, probably going to take me a really long time to get up, and I'll be very happy if maybe even 5 people want to hear what I have to talk about. But on today's episode, I'm going to be, can I say episode? On today's video, we're going to be talking about my top 5 reads of 2020 so far. I have 10 books that I have enjoyed. I got back into reading because of 2020. I was getting, like most people were, COVID, very bored, and I had a friend who's really into reading. Her name on Instagram, she's an Instagrammer, is Jayme Milligan Books. I'll put her tag downstairs because she's the reason I can even make this video and talk about half these books, but she's kind of started me on a few of them. So without further ado, I'm going to get started on some of these videos. So the first book I'm going to be talking about is White Hot Kiss by Jennifer Armentrout. It is about a young girl named Layla. Set in high school. I don't feel like it's a very high school romance, but I just want to put that out there before. She's living with Zane and they are angels. I believe they're angels. I could be completely wrong. Don't roast me if I am. And she's sent to protect the community. So they fight demons coming from hell, so there's a whole demon aspect, an angel aspect, which is really cool to get into. So Zane is her best friend from childhood. She has a crush on him. Nothing really happens. She's not fully like the other people. She has some demon qualities about her, which you'll find out more throughout the book, as well as she meets a demon named Ross. So that's more of a, I don't want to say enemies to lovers, it's more of a dislike to lovers. And there's like a little bit of a love triangle that gets taken with Zane and Ross, and it's so cute, and it goes on for 3 books. But especially the first one, I find it's a very protective, you get protective vibes, it has a sarcasm, and she finds herself. My favorite quote in this book is, "I lost myself the moment I found you." It is so cute. I think it is a good way of finding herself, a woman coming to age kind of story, and something I definitely found as a 5-star read. Could not put it down. So the next book I'm going to talk about is Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. In my opinion, it is the best Sarah J. Maas book there is. She has many 5-star reads. I'll talk about another one later in this video, but Crescent City by far is my top one. It has a very good mystery in it. It has amazing world building. It took a couple chapters for me to fully get into it, but as soon as I was into it, I loved the angels, the werewolves. It had every supernatural creature you can think of. I think they had mermaids. I don't know if they call them mermaids in it. Great story. I thought it was better than Crown of. I know that's a very unpopular opinion. I have a friend, Jayme Milligan, loves A Court of. She actually DNF Crescent City, even though I said it was one of the best ones, but I get it. It's not everyone's taste. I found it was a badass character. We have our Bryce Quinlan. I'm not going to give too much away because that's part of the story, but it has our character Bryce Quinlan. She aims up to solve a mystery with Hunt, who is an archangel, and his story and his character building is good. It's a very, very slow burn. I love romance. I will review probably mostly romance on here. It is a very slow burn and not a lot of romance. But that being said, it shows how good it was if I'm recommending it as a romance reader, saying I loved it. The last third, like quarter of this book was like mind blowing. Loved it. Could not put it down. I actually walked my parents' dog for a couple hours to finish it because I don't know if anyone else is like this, but when I'm listening to a book, I listen to this book. I can't just like sit and listen to it. I had to like walk. I listen to it when I drive to work, a lot of these books. The illustration on Audible on this one, 10 out of 10 recommend. Very good. It was like 24 hours listened to through Audible. So it was a marathon, not a race for this one, but I loved it. All the emotions. There was love, betrayal, loss, pride, anything you think of. I cried during this book. Cry during most books, but this one I specifically cried at, and I think a lot of people, the reviews I read were the same reason. So highly recommend. And my favorite quote in this is, "Light it up, bitch." It is, when you read it, you'll understand why it's so important. It has a very sisterly bond to it. Recommend it. The third book I'm going to be the third book I'm going to be talking about is A Simple Wild by K.A. Tucker. It's about a woman named Kala. She's from Toronto, really close to my heart because I'm also from Toronto area. I can't really say I'm from Toronto. I live in the GTA, work in downtown Toronto. But anyways, it's about Kala. She goes to a father that she's actually really never met. So it's an absent father kind of story. She goes visits him in Alaska. I didn't think I wanted to go to Alaska, but after I read this book, I was like, what's the plane prices to get to Alaska, because it was so romantic. So her dad owns a charter plane company, and she blames a lot of the reason why she didn't relate to him or like get to grow with him on this company. She doesn't understand why he lives here, why he didn't want to. So there's a lot of like father-daughter bonding, but there's something with her father, I don't want to give it away, that happened. So it is why she's going to there. She meets someone that works for her father's company named Jonah, and it's a very brooding Alaskan man, thinks she's a princess because she's from Toronto. So I love all those tropes all together, and it is definitely something I would read the synopsis for read. I don't know if the synopsis they say what happens, but there is a few trigger warnings in there, so just look through those. But it's like a very slow burn, also not as slow as Crescent City, but still slow, and there is more romance in it. I love it. It's very touching. It's very relatable. I feel like a lot of people really like this, and Katie Tucker did a great job. So my favorite quote from this book is, "What hold does Alaska have on them? What makes this place worth giving up everything else?" And I think that summarizes the beginning of this book and the ending of this book through Calla's viewpoint, and as she discovers herself, her family, and a little bit more about herself, stuff she didn't know she wanted. And I think it is a beautiful book, beautiful romance. If you're a romance reader, if you're not a romance reader, I think you would like this. I recommend it to a lot of people that ask me for what's a good romance. So the fourth book I'm going to talk about is The Deal by Elle Kennedy. It is a hockey romance. It is so cute. It is about Hannah and Garrett. Garrett is the hockey player. Hannah is a singer in an ensemble. It is college set. I love college romances. I definitely not of the age of college. I graduated many years ago, but I still find myself like so relating to college romances, hoping that I'll find someone like Garrett in the world. It is definitely Garrett is troubled. He definitely has the bad boy vibes, but he becomes attached to her. So he was failing in a class, and he actually hires her to become his tutor. She didn't want to, but he found a reason to make her do it. So it's kind of like I don't want to say romance to convenience, because I don't think it is, but it's definitely they fall in love through tutoring and all this. It's very relatable. Love it. The quote I would give is, "Sometimes people sneak up on you now, and suddenly you didn't know how you ever live without them." And I think this is very good because it's two polar opposite worlds coming together through a beautiful romance. Everyone loves hockey. I'm Canadian, so I love hockey romance. I didn't find anything wrong with it. I felt it was relatable. I didn't think it was too much hockey. I didn't think it was like too less hockey. 5-star. So the next book I'm going to talk about is Verity by Colleen Hoover. I'm not gonna lie, I thought don't know much about Colleen Hoover. This is the first Colleen Hoover book I picked up. I knew she was a romance author. I love romance. I thought I would give it a shot and I would really like it. So I kind of went in blind. I think that's honestly the best way to go into this book. But I'm gonna give you a little background. I don't wanna say too much about it because I think it is a giant spoiler if you say too much, but it is about Logan and Jayme. So Logan is a ghost writer, and Jayme's, I'm not going to say much about him because I feel like I'm going to give away everything, but it is definitely a suspenseful novel. I don't recommend reading it late at night like I did. It was hard to go to sleep after it. But as a romance reader, I kind of steer away from mystery, murder, all those kind of things, but I loved this. I was into the suspense. I loved it. Don't want to say too much else, but my favorite quote, without giving away anything, is, "No one is likable from the inside out." And I think that is very true. I just recommended this to a friend who read it, and the whole time she was texting me, and it was so hard for me not to message her back because there's so many spoilers and her viewpoints of it. I would definitely, if anyone's reading it, definitely shoot me a comment. I can give you my Goodreads handle. I can give you. So the next recommendation is actually a series recommendation. It's the Preston Brothers series by Jayme Mclean. It is 3 books in the series. I give them all 5 stars. It's about 3 brothers in the Preston family. Before I go in any further with this, it does deal with parent loss heavily in all 3 books. Their mother passes away, so in every book they deal with it in a different way. There's a lot of trigger warnings. I would just read the trigger warnings for each book specifically because there's different trigger warnings in each one. But loved the book, cried during every single book, felt the emotions, rooted for all the characters in it. I didn't dislike any of the boys, didn't dislike any of the female characters. But the first book in the series is Lucas. It is Friends to Lovers book. It is definitely a very slow burn. You don't really see it's a lot back and forth, so you see the true romance towards the end. That was actually my least favorite of the 3. My top of the 3 was the second book. It is about Logan. It deals heavily with some addiction problems, which I not addicted to anything, but was really relatable. I really liked it. And it was Acquaintances to Lovers. And then the third book in the series, which was my second favorite, is Leo. And it is friends, enemies, lovers, enemies, friends, acquaintances. Like, it goes all over the board through the whole time. They're all super worthy. They're all super hot. There's more brothers in the book too. I think there's 3 others. So there's a set of twins and a little brother. I don't think they're going to have any books. The sister in the book, she's the oldest. I believe she comes from a series before this, which I haven't read yet, which I'm definitely on my TBR list because I loved her in every single book. I highly recommend all these books. I would read them all together. I'd read them in order: Lucas, Logan, Leo. It makes more sense. They are standalones, you don't have to, but I read them in order and I feel like that really helped. So the 7th book I'm going to recommend is Never Seduce a Scot. It's part of a series. I've only read the first one, loved it. It is a historical romance. I've never really been big into historical romances, but it was recommended to me, so I strongly read it. It is an arranged marriage. The woman in it, she is deaf, and people think she's actually deaf. They think she's dumb, she doesn't know anything. She's arranged marriage to submit to alliances. It is a Scottish romance, so I think they're called clans. So 2 clans have to merge an alliance, so it is an arranged marriage. Both sides aren't really happy about it. It's a very protective man, so once he realizes this is his duty, he becomes very protective, but you don't really see the romance because she, like I said, they think she's dumb. And the women of his clan are very nice to her, so there's a lot of jealousy and hatefulness towards her and a lot of bullying. And then you kind of see as the book progresses the romance, and there's some twists and turns. I didn't think I would like historical romance. I didn't think I'd be able to relate to it, but I could not put it down. I listened to this on Audible as well. It was, I think, 8 hours. It wasn't too long of a book. Listened to it on the way to work. Loved it. I would recommend it to everyone. The next book, I think, is no shock here. I think this is on a lot of people's top 5 of this year and last year, and it is The Court of series by Sarah J. Maas. It is not going to touch too much. I think most people know who it is, especially if you're clicking on my small little channel. You probably already have heard 1,000 people talk about this. It is a fantasy series. It is heavy on the romance. It has a beautifully done one bed trope in book number 2. Book number 1 is Beauty and the Beast retelling. I think you just need to read it, jump into it. The quote that I loved in this book is, "To the stars who listened and the dreams that are answered." And that was in book number 2, which was my favorite of the series. So if you can't tell by now, I'm actually a big Kindle reader. I have my Kindle right here. That's what I'm looking down reading because I'm trying to get the names right so I don't completely butcher the reviews because some of these books are read so long ago. But I am highly a Kindle reader. I don't, as you can see in my little apartment, I don't really have space for a bookshelf. I do have some hardcover books here, but the next book I'm going to do, I actually have the copy of it, and is A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. It is book 2. It is done by Jennifer Armentrout as well. Sorry, I had to pronounce her name really slowly to get it right. Jennifer Armentrout, this is the second book of Blood and Ash. I love book 2. I reread the series actually, and I reiterated that I love book 2 more than book 3. Didn't really like book 3 in popular opinion. Book 1 is all right towards the end, but book 2, so good. It is enemies to lovers. It's a boy who's obsessed with a girl, which I love when the girl's playing hard to get and the guy really likes her. And I'm not going to give too much away because it's book 2 in a series. I don't want you guys to come for me. My favorite quote in this book is, "Let's make a deal that we don't borrow tomorrow's problems for today." And I think that's a really good thing to listen to in life. So the last book I'm going to talk about is Flock by Kate Stewart. It's another book. I feel like all the good books that I'm talking about, you have to go in blind, but it was recommended for me to go in blind by all of BookTube and Bookstagram. They're like, go in blind. I couldn't find anything about this book even if I tried. So it is about a daughter visiting an absent dad. You have small town vibes. The boys of the town create some trouble. Reverse harem, I want to say, but I don't think fully reverse harem. Super good book. I wanted to read the rest of the series, but I did something really bad. I definitely looked into book 2 and found out some spoilers, and the spoilers actually made me not want to read the rest of the series. I was so devastated, but had I gone in blind for the second book, I think I would have enjoyed it. I still might pick up book 2. Might not. Like I said, I spoiled it to myself. Terrible reader. I know you can rake me over the coals for that one. So my favorite quote from this book is, "We all crave the all-consuming, smut-stealing, drama-filled romances that are destined to end badly." And I think this book, it sums in that quote so well. So many emotions. So that is all my 5-star reads from this year, 2020 so far. I have a bunch of notes to make more videos, even like I said, if no one watches it, if 5 people watch it. I just want to get more comfortable talking in front of the camera. I love reading and I want to share my books, even if I'm just talking to myself. I'm going to link all the books down below that I read. Hopefully I figure out how to do it. It doesn't take me 5 hours to do. So those are all my 5-star reads of 2021 so far. I'm very picky with my 5-star recommendations, so I would love to hear some of your 5-star recommendations. If anyone is watching this, please comment below. Please subscribe. I have a ton new ideas that I want to get out there to the world. I'll be recording a mass amount of them. I'm going to link all the Amazon links for the books that I recommended today down below. Some of these are on Kindle Unlimited. I'm a huge Kindle Unlimited reader, so I will tell you if they're Kindle Unlimited in the description box below. Thank you so much for making it this far in my video, and I promise to get better with speaking with the camera, looking at myself through the camera as the time goes by. Any recommendations you have for me, please comment down below. Any suggestions to make my setup a little bit nicer, please also comment that, and I would love to hear what your thoughts are. Thank you so much, and enjoy your evening, day, weekend, wherever you are in the world. Thank you.